AFC Bournemouth are third, not fourth in the Premier League, and on Sunday we welcome Nottingham Forest to Dean Court. We're at the QP, the home of AFC Bournemouth supporters on a match day, and this is the show where we build up to the big game. This is part 2 of our preview double header. The first part, of course, concentrated on all things Forest, but now it's time to talk all things AFCB, and with the league table looking so good and AFC Bournemouth's form in a very fine place, welcoming the tricky trees would usually be seen as a good thing, but we know that football doesn't always work out like that, does it, Tom?
No, it doesn't, unfortunately. These are the games I worry about more, for sure, but maybe not so much Nottingham Forest normally. But we've got to, tread carefully with it being Dyche ball now and a different look to them, and they should be in a better place because, you know, they've got rid of all that rubbish and they can go again, and the players will probably think, oh, I need to earn a start under Dyche, and I think he's one of them that gets good team spirit going and all that stuff. So, yeah, as we spoke about in the other part, mate, it's going to be a tricky one. I think Forest would be better for it, but from our perspective, keep playing like we're playing, keep doing what we're doing, and we should have enough.
Fingers crossed. So in this show, there's a lot to cram in. So here's what's coming up on today's Bournemouth briefing. So is Bournemouth's clinicality improving? We've got a few stats which suggest it might be. We'll take a look at that. We'll have a look at our previous meetings. We'll look at the last time we faced Forest, but also Sean Dyche as well. We need to check out the stats. How did Bournemouth get one over Sean Dyche? We've had some pretty tricky matches against them, apt given the nickname of the team we're about to play. Also, we'll go over the team news, and look, Unal gets minutes as well, and we might need to talk about the shirt that Tom is wearing here today. Plus, we'll talk about the predicted teams too and have a guess what AFC Bournemouth are going to do. So, firstly, I need to talk about this shirt then, Tom. Who is this? What
I'm not sure.
This?
I'm not going to try and pronounce it. It's like a lower league Turkish team, but it's red and black. It's got a cool little bird thing on it. But yeah, I thought it'd be fitting with Ennis coming back to full fitness to wear it. And I actually quite like the top as well. And it's a nice one. So I'm not sure I've ever seen a team actually play in it and wear it, but apparently they did. But yeah, I like it, mate. And it's all for now. Our Turkish delight.
Our Turkish delight.
I hate Turkish delight.
No, I like it.
Oh, of course you do.
I actually don't mind it. But look, hopefully when he does come back to the first team, our clinicality can continue to improve. And look, there'll be people in the comments saying, why are you using that word? It's not in the Oxford English Dictionary. We know, but it does feel as though it has improved. It should be in it.
It's not a word. Clinicality. That's outrageous.
Clinicalness, clinical nature, whatever. But look, against Palace, we registered 8 shots, scored 3 goals. Against Fulham, 11 shots, 3 goals. Leeds, 12 shots, 2 goals. If you rewind to earlier this season, against Spurs, 20 shots, 1 goal. Wolves, 14 shots, just the 1 goal. And of course, against Newcastle, 11 shots, 0 goals. Kroupi, of course, had his effect. He was a fox in the box in the last game. But I don't know. Maybe it's a small sample size, but it does feel as though we're having fewer shots, but we're scoring more.
Yeah, it does a little bit. You're right. I think, the stats prove it, don't they, from what you just said, mate. It felt like the start of the season we were, particularly that Tottenham game, we were so good, but it was like, same again, where we're just not quite finishing all our chances. But yeah, in recent times, it does feel like we've been a little bit, just a little bit cleverer in and around the box, potentially. I think it's something we definitely would have worked on, for sure. And maybe, just finding little pockets and that a little bit better. But, it'd be interesting to see, because before against Forest, we've not particularly, had loads of chances, but we've been quite clinical against them in the past. So hopefully that continues for this one.
Well, look, we've been looking at some XG stats. Now, Nottingham Forest have had more attempts, slightly more big chances, and XG in their last 4 games, although AFC Bournemouth have recorded many more goals, 7 versus Forest's 1. AFC Bournemouth have better defensive stats, even after the barrage from Crystal Palace, with fewer goal attempts and big chances conceded, with XGC also marginally favouring Bournemouth. We've conceded 1 fewer goal as well. Plus, we've made fewer errors leading to chances than Nottingham Forest, whose 6 mistakes is relatively high, thanks to Matt for those stats on Vitals. We're going to go over how we're going to beat this Sean Dyche side, but it is going to be different in it. It's going to be markedly different between what we would have played with Ange, what we will be against Sean Dyche.
Yeah, you're gonna you look at all the stats, and obviously they do play a part because it's similar players or the same players on the pitch. But yeah, the system's gonna be totally different. They're gonna concede a fair amount of goals and a lot of chances with Ange, and then Dyche, you expect it to go to the opposite. How quickly he'll be able to turn that remains to be seen, because I think we might look at it after the game, and hopefully we do, and go, it's a good job he got him before Dyche just got into him a bit more. But yeah, there'll certainly be, I mean, you've seen it even with Thomas Frank at Tottenham that we just mentioned, like the difference that he's made to him, a little bit more organised at the back than Ange was. So yeah, it might take Dyche a little bit of time, but he's been here and done it in the Premier League. So yeah, it'll definitely be a trickier test, but We've played a lot of Dyche teams as well. We've done well against Forest, so if we can combine that, we might be all right.
So the last time we played Forest, that was when they visited Dean Court in January, and they were third in the table, and we'd just come off a 4-1 win at Newcastle, didn't we? And I was expecting us to put in a good performance and maybe get 3 points, but that was the most emphatic match we had last season. And boy, that was good, wasn't it?
Oh, it was, mate. The amount of injuries we had at that period, how good Forest looked, the fact it was really windy, I was hoping it would pick up a little bit and we'd get the game off. But in the end, we just decided what would be interesting is that game we didn't have Evanilson in either game last. So Evanilson's not playing Nottingham Forest; he's out. So we just went, we'll just chuck Dango up front, and he popped in a little hat trick. So yeah, it was an unbelievable day. I remember Clive that set us on our way with a really good long ranger. He just obviously had a hat trick against Newcastle just before, so he was in good form. And
he ran the length of the pitch, didn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. They just kept backing off. Yeah, and I think we scored like an unbelievable goal that was ruled out for offside as well.
That was Clive that put it in that time as well.
Could have been more, but yeah, 5-0 against, not just against Forest, but against the team that were, like you say, third in the league and right on it, was a real statement at that point.
But what really surprised me is looking at the stats at that game, I didn't quite realise that Forest had 17 shots.
Yeah, it was a weird one because they didn't have many on target. I mean, they have on the 3, but whereas we had 14 shots and 10 on target, so we were again a lot better in the box. But yeah, it was weird. It was kind of like to and fro in, but we were just very clinical, which is obviously the word of the day, mate. But yeah, really, really enjoyed that one. I mean, Newcastle and Forest then back to back. That was just unbelievable. I mean, there was more to it, but an unbelievable period of the season for us.
What about the last time we faced a Sean Dyche side then? Well, it happened twice last season, and the last time was a 1-0 win at home against the Toffees.
Brooks?
It was, yeah, Brooks, and that was like voted for, one of the goals of the month, I think. Yeah. And of course, there was some game at Goodison Park that I somewhat remember, but that match could have been so different.
That was a mad game. Yeah, again, I think if you look at it, you go, we won the last 2 times we played Dyche, 1-0 and 3-2, that's good. But I go, well, that 1-0 game was a typical Dyche game. We were miles better than Everton, but it never looked like it was going to happen. It took a little bit, let's be honest, it was a real clever goal from Brooks. It come out of nowhere that won us that game. So you go, okay, that was on a knife edge. The game at Everton, I mean, they battered us for 87 minutes. Yeah. They were so much better than us for 87 minutes. And then, we just managed to get a goal. And it's one of them things where they got a bit nervy. And, we didn't win the improbable comeback award for that, apparently, which is absolutely bonkers. But on 87 minutes, we were 2-0 down and we won the game.
Yeah, indeed. He's actually lost his last 3 Premier League matches against Bournemouth, but he's won 6 in a row against the Ches before that. How will it play out? Well, look, Dyche has got this footballing reputation. It's unbelievable just going back through a few stats related to Sean Dyche, right? Get this. You know, the season his Burnley side qualified for Europe. That was 2017-18 season, that's right. They scored 36 goals that season, one of which was an own goal, right? Only 2 other teams scored less without being relegated.
That's mad, isn't it? They were so effective, weren't they? They were so effective that season. But yeah, as you say, it was just being resolute at the back and nicking the odd goal, but they were bloody good at it.
I think one of the things we sort of realised against at Goodison Park against them is that once they score first, they sort of clam up a little bit, and it's so difficult for us to get in, which is why that sort of capitulation that happened at the end of the game was just so uncharacteristic. I mean, they were absolutely flying, weren't they? Yeah. They were really defensively resolute, and all of a sudden it just all went wrong. And I think probably quite a volatile fan base at the time. So when we did get one back, I think that sort of set the tone. And Forest fans, of course, well, I don't know what they're expecting because they've had a very unpredictable all season.
Yeah, it was definitely the case, mate. I don't think it was Dyche done what Dyche normally does, and they were ahead in this Everton game away, and yeah, they were looking very, very comfortable. And then you nick a goal, and you're in, and it was because it was at Everton, they were struggling and they were worrying, and they had the new stadium around the corner, and they're thinking we need to keep getting results, and we kind of played on that, and that can happen a little bit, especially if you play teams that are off form. I mean, you've even seen recently with Liverpool, who are obviously, you know, the favourites and the reigning champions, and then they lose. They've been scraping it. They lose one game, lose again.
Yeah.
It just happens sometimes, and we could take advantage of that. I think if we can get an early goal, like we always say, but in this game in particular, if we can get an early goal, they're going to be wary to come out. Dyche try and keep them there, but they're going to, feeling the nerves a little bit.
As you can see, we're in the courtroom at the QP, the home of Cherries fans, on a match day, and it's open from 11 a.m. on Sunday. There are no roast. Hang on, are you counting your wages there?
Yeah, well, that's yours, sir.
So I've got 50 quid, and you've got what, £300 there?
Something like that. Yeah, it's 300 there and 50 there, mate. What do you think that's for, really?
Well, I don't know. What is it for?
What a rollover. Raffle. Raffle here at the QP after the game. £300 first prize.
You're kidding me.
Nice little 50 for second as well.
That is unreal.
It might be like 280 maybe.
Yeah, by the end of this show. Look, if you come to the QP before the game, make sure that when you buy a pint, they'll ask you, are you coming back afterwards? Say yes, grab yourself a raffle ticket. If you're not, say yes anyway and give one to Tom, because it's an increased chance of him winning.
It's my birthday weekend as well.
Oh, yeah, it is his birthday
weekend.
Of course. Happy birthday for yesterday, mate.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
How does it feel to be, 26, 27?
34.
What?
34.
Oh, my God.
I would be I would be the oldest in the squad, I think. So never worry, innit? Bring back Randolph.
So look, no roast dinners, of course, but there's a full match day menu. There's going to be plenty going on in and around the QP. Chat to Cherries fans. Get yourself a raffle ticket. Enjoy the pre-match and the post-match at the QP. And of course, remember, it's got TNT Sports on during the week and at the weekend as well. So if you fancy a cheeky little Saturday night here, why not? Brentford are playing?
Yeah, it's an 8 o'clock game, isn't it?
Yeah, why not? Get on it. So, what is the key to us beating a Nottingham Forest side managed under Sean Dyche? In many ways, mate. I mean, I've been saying we talked about it on the previous show, but if anyone didn't watch it, it just feels a bit mad. You got Nuno, who's pretty well drilled, but a very counter-attacking side, to Ange, who's just like, I don't care, I'm just going to score goals.
Don't worry about defence. Yeah.
To then playing a side that is really known as being very defensive. Yeah. You sort of wonder how the players will be able to cope, but what kind of structure will he be using?
I think they'll probably, I mean, at Burnley for a while he went 4-4-2, did he quite a lot and just made them work hard. I think he's not going to want to change too much too quickly in terms, if he puts too many square pegs in round holes, they'll get confused. So I think I can see, I haven't seen him much do the old 5, so I can see him going with a 4. I think it will look like kind of 4-2-3-1, but then when the game pads out, it'll go into a more 4-5-1. Yeah, they'll be very difficult. There'll be quite a low block in there, but they'll look for pace on the wings, and they'll try and hurt us that way, and there'll be a lot of crosses into the box, a lot of directness, which I do think we're getting better at, but equally, you could look to the fact, and I'm sure Dyche will, that the reason we didn't beat Crystal Palace was pretty much Jean-Philippe Mateta, who's an absolute beast up front. Yeah, we'll have to get better at that, and I always think when there's like a bit of directness and crossing into the box, people go, you've got to get better at dealing with the crosses. I always think, why don't you just try and stop it at source better?
Yes, of course.
But surely it's easier for the fullbacks that stop the cross. I'd like to see, just from the Palace game, particularly Traffer, who's been very good for us, but I felt we struggled in that one. Jimenez was probably slightly better. Just getting across to the kind of wingers quicker to stop them just getting an easy ball in the box. Because even if you can make it a difficult cross, that will help. We certainly don't want to be giving away loads of set pieces from the chuck-in, mate. But it will probably, sometimes it never works out like that. We'll probably win 1-0 from a corner or something.
Just want to see plenty of quick switching of the ball, but also the second phase of play as well. Also, that second ball, not necessarily winning the first, because they're pretty strong at the back, but picking it up and pressing high and doing what we do. But it's going to be a very, very different game to the away games, isn't it? And we've said this before, that many teams are going to come to Dean Court and deploy a particular tactic, which kind of means that if entertainment's what you want, you're better off watching Bournemouth away. So it's maybe going to be ones where we got scrape over the line somewhat.
Be a bit like the Wolves game. bit like the Newcastle game, and it will just be one of them games where we're going to have the crowd and everyone's going to have to be patient, I think.
Yeah.
Which, like you said, mate, you're right. That's going to happen more at home. And even Forest, I mean, we haven't lost to them in a decade, which I love to keep saying to people. But our form is still better away.
Yeah.
We've drawn more of them at home, whereas we win a lot more at their place. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of that. And I think it's going to be really interesting because I think we're so good at the press and getting on the defence. Dyche will try and miss it.
Yeah.
He will not. There's no way you'll see their centre-half fullback just knocking it around and us trying to. He'll try and miss the press.
Well, he'll probably have seen also where Crystal Palace gained a little bit of success because they pumped balls up to Matata. Yeah, just
first half they tried to play more.
Yeah,
no, absolutely, mate. As soon as they went a little bit more direct, they caused a few more problems. So he'll look into that for sure.
I wonder if this is a game for Velko.
It could well be. I mean, a lot of people were saying that. I thought the centre-half played relatively well, albeit there were moments. But I still looked at it and felt, in a game away at Palace, Mateta's going to cause you some problems anyway. I do think as well, people forget how much of a new partnership it is, and obviously Velko had to come in for one as well. And it's probably quite useful for Dyche and Celesi to keep building it.
Yeah.
But equally, if you're ever going to just chuck Velko into a game, it's probably a good one for it.
Well, look, it's an interesting stat that Nottingham Forest have conceded the joint most goals in the second half of Premier League games this season. So that shows that subs are going to be absolutely key. So
lovely.
Don't look at the starting 11. Tom's going to predict AFC Bournemouth starting 11 later. It's more important who finishes the game. So it's going to be very interesting to see what we'll do. Tom said the stat earlier, unbeaten in their last 10 league games against Forest. And ironically, it was in our promotion season where they beat us twice.
Yeah, they done double us when we won the league, which was mad. And not the promotion season we just had, the one before that.
The one before that.
Yeah, and I actually remember that. So that means the last time we lost at home, because I remember that game, Stuart Pearce was the manager.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, do you remember that Britason Malongo?
Yeah.
He was an absolute beast. He scored a winner. I think it was on a Tuesday night. And then at their place, I remember going up. I remember Andrew Sermon scoring a worldie.
God.
And then Lascelles, who's at Newcastle, scoring. So yeah, that shows how long ago it was though. I think they had like Matty Fryer and Dexter Blackstock. It was so long. Antonio was playing from on the wing.
Ridiculous.
That's how long ago since they beat us. Let's just keep it that way.
Let's check out the Bournemouth team news then. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it on screen, but we'll go through it now quickly. Of course, we know that Brooksy is going to be out. Evanilson he's on his way back, but probably going to not be around. Julio Soler, of course, we talked about him losing to Morocco, but he should be available and in the squad, you think?
You would have thought he might come in on that bench for maybe Araujo, just to give us that left-back option, because we've got Smithy now back on the bench and James Hill in terms of right-back option. So maybe Soler for Araujo could be one of the subs bench, but I don't think Ula will be on the bench yet.
But it was good to see that he got 45 minutes for the development side the other day.
Very good, looking good. And yeah, really good to see him being able to play. They obviously would have planned that, play the first half, to see how you get on. And hopefully it seems like he's come through it okay, just the normal stuff, and it'll just be fitness, mate. But I'm really, I don't know why, but when you haven't had someone for so long, you want really a starter anyway. Then I think, do you remember that free kick against West Ham? Do you remember them late goals he scored for us?
It could be like a new signing.
Because I know how I feel about Unal. I love that.
Let's do teams. Come on then. Right, Tom, you've got Bournemouth in a 4-2-3-1 by the looks of it.
Yeah, obviously the Petro in goal for sure. Yeah. I'm going to stick with him at right back. I thought it probably his best performance, maybe at times. He's still struggling to get through the full 90, but I thought he played well. I see your point about Velko, but I'm going to stick with Dyche and Celesi for now, and Trafford at left back. I'm going to stick with Adams and Scott. I thought Christie obviously changed the game with his goal and his energy. I looked at him for actually, if you're ever going to play, it'd be weird to drop Scott in a game where we've just discussed that we'll probably have more of the ball. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And try and open something up. So I'm going to stick with Adams and Scott. Adams don't get a yellow. He's on 4. Yeah. Going to make a little rogue one because I don't like to be safe on the team news. Ben Gannon-Doak.
Oh, okay.
I just looked at, obviously Brooksy's out. I looked at, he tried Adley against Leeds. He started him and he didn't really perform, came out. He started Clive in the last game. I thought he was miles better off the bench. Yeah. Didn't have a good game. So he might come out. And I think he quite likes putting Tav in the central role. So I just think he's given Adley a chance. He's given Brooks a chance. He's given Clive a chance. Yeah. At some point, I think he's going to chuck Gannon-Doak in.
Just to stretch the fullbacks a little bit.
Yeah, and I just think if they're low block, just maybe stretch and try and get in behind. So I'm going to go Gannon-Doak, probably off that right side. Tav back into the centre. Semenyo off the left. And then Ellis, Junior Kroupi up top. Junior Kroupi up top.
You had me there.
So yeah, banker of a goal as well in there.
So in their first spell in the Premier League, of course, AFC Bournemouth, 5 seasons, we won just 32.3% of the games against sides starting the day in the relegation zone.
Why did you bring up just
Since our return to the Premier League, we've won 68.4%. That's what we're talking about.
That's gas ball. That's O'Neill ball. Did you see him on Monday Night Football?
It's O'Neill. It's O'Neill. How does he come across?
No, he does always come across all right, I think. He's obviously a good coach. He's coached loads, and he was talking about it and saying that he hasn't really been on holiday. He's just been coaching every game and doing all this stuff. And
he was lecturing on how to defend set pieces and stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was a little bit odd, but I did feel for him because they're talking about indefensible. And he must be thinking there's going to be fans everywhere going, what the hell?
I'm a fraud.
Soon they'll get bloody Ryan Fraser on to talk about loyalty or something. But no, he's obviously up for a job now. But yeah, obviously Gazball and Parker Ball is why that's changed, mate, of course.
You teased me with your thoughts in the previous part, mate, but I'm going to now push you for a prediction. But before I do that, we want yours as well. So pop them in the comments below. We'd love to see what you got to say. Tom, what are you going for? I've got a feeling I know what you're going for.
Dear.
I'm going to put it behind my back. I've got my fingers poised.
Okay, I'm going to go for 1-0 Bournemouth.
Yeah, I didn't move. I promise I didn't move them.
I just think it's that sort of game in it, Dyche. Hopefully we can keep the door closed. It's not going to be easy, but and then hopefully we can just have that both. Basically, I'm saying kind of like the last time we played Dyche. That Everton game was really nip and tuck. Fought like it was going to end in a 1-0, bit of Brooks quality, and obviously this time it'll be. I'm going to go for. We've got to stick with him. A little bit of Junior Kroupi. 1-0.
I know they've obviously played in Europe under Dyche so far, but I just feel as though he'll want to do his utmost to start off his Premier League tenure, the tricky trees, as well as possible. I think they might score. However, 2-1 Bournemouth.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah. So I think it'll be a tight affair, mate. I think it will be. And it probably won't be the best spectacle for us to watch, but if we can just get over the line, get the win, because obviously we've got City and Villa away. Up next, so we've got 6 points in the bag there, so we'll need to no, but it's going to be a tricky game, mate, as you say, but hopefully we can have just a little bit too much for him. If not, can we get Binning back on an emergency loan?
That would be ideal.
He loves playing the Frost, doesn't he?
He does. Remember to come to the QP open from 11 and also after the game as well. Get your hands on this lovely wodge of money. £350 up for grabs. £300 first prize, £50 second prize. You know it makes sense. It's the home of cherry supporters on a match day. Make sure you're there. Well, we will be, and wish him a happy birthday as well whilst you're at it.
Thank you.
Up the chairs.
Up the chairs. It is windy though.
Yeah.
Just say it is windy.
Storm Benjamin.
Yeah, now.